Hey,
Hi.
how
Hi,
are you?
everybody.
Hi. So
Hey,
welcome
Mirantha.
everybody. Yeah, that was cool, right?
I
So
like that
welcome
intro.
to
That's cool.
Beyond the Stars podcast, featuring Christy Campbell. So Christy, I'm just going to read out a little bit before I introduce you fully of who you
Okay.
are and a bit of your history, if that's okay. Hey Sue. And for anyone that's having trouble with the link, please go into YouTube, Mirantha O'Rouke 8888, and that'll get you in another way to witness. And also, it is on Christy's YouTube channels as well. So is yours under your full name, Christy Campbell, CC33?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, so my hosting today, that is myself, Mirantha O'Rouke, for those who do not know me. You're welcome to visit my pages on Facebook as well. I also have a private group called Divine Heart Allegiance. You're more than welcome to join that. Friend request, follow, share, like, etc. On there, I do a lot of free work. There's a lot of free events, new knowledge, information for the evolution of our consciousness, of humanity. And we also do a lot of lives. I do a lot of readings and things on there as well. Hey. Hi.
And like,
So I'm just going to introduce Christy a little bit for those that do not know her. Now, this is a very important podcast today because my bringing Christy in idea of introducing her and showing her who she is and what she does was to create something a little different on my podcast, to bring someone in who's very awake, aware, in a way that will be very new to a lot of you. It is a little different to what we normally do, but in a way that it's going to be profound. So Christy's official name is Christy Campbell, CC33, and she is multidimensional artist, author, Karuna Reiki Master. Now, her story is one of courage, remembrance, and reclaiming. And through her books, her art, and her light language activations, she guides others in awakening their starseed DNA. And there's a lot of healing of the ancestral trauma that comes in with that, and the help to remember all of our connections to the greater cosmic families. Her groundbreaking book, or one of her books, Electra MyLab SSP Missions, which is the Super Soldier program, reveals a raw and unfiltered testimony of life inside covert programs and the path to spiritual awakening through reclaiming of the soul, through the fragments itself and bringing in truth. This work, along with many of her other writings, which we will talk about, some of them are known as DNA activation codes, her galactic scribing, starseed activations, cosmic engineer, transmissions from interdimensionals, and many more books. They serve as activations of remembering for those who are awakening to the hidden stories within their own consciousness. So welcome, Christy. Thank you
Thank you
for
for having me
coming and
on.
saying yes. So, what I normally do with any guest that comes on is we always begin with the start. So, I always like to ask, what at what stage in your life, when you were younger, even perhaps, did you actually start to realize that not only is something different about you, but you had some sort of abilities and gifts, but you're also part of something eventually that you obviously discovered later that was unusual, and you were experiencing perhaps things that weren't what most people experience. So
Yeah.
you were having contacts with ETs, you were having contacts with programs to do obviously with the government and things like that. When did you really first start having either visions or ideas that that's who you were?
That's happening and everything. I feel
Yeah,
like
when did it really
during
happen?
during childhood I was really shy and
Yep,
withdrawn, and I didn't feel like I fit in with a large crowd, so I always like to kind of was withdrawn a lot. So I feel like that was part of that programming that I was gone, the maybe the trauma of
yep,
trusting people and opening up and stuff. But that's kind of all in my family already too, so there's no one really there to discuss those things with. And the alien topic never came up either, so I didn't
mhm,
even have that in my mind about alien anything. So it
right,
wasn't until later in life. My son, he's severe autistic, so
mhm,
I started looking into ways I could help him like calm down or and help his stomach, because he had digestive issues. So I started looking into Reiki. It's when I took
right,
Reiki, and that was like 2011 when I
mhm,
started taking that. And so I just continued on with that. I really loved my teacher that I went to her class, and it was like a weekend class, and it lasted, for this from 2011 till 2013, from Reiki 1 all the way to Karuna Reiki Master. Just going to take her class, like it was a weekend class, and she would give
mhm,
so all of those symbols for the Reiki, I have all of those. She gives them from herself, from her the guides and the Reikis, and the Reiki
mhm,
guides and all of that to assist with healing with each symbol. So
right,
the Karuna Reiki is compassionate, it's compassionate. um so it's gonna be like the Kuan Yin, Jesus or Yeshua, however you say, and archangels,
yep,
so that's what the Karuna Reiki is. So it kind of takes it to a deeper level. So it starts out with, being able to kind of feel your energy. So that started with that, feeling your energy, knowing what your energy is and what someone else's is, and then being able to send it. So this is what kind of developed and kind of moved things out of me.
right,
Maybe like making visions of things come up, like questioning things, but not
yeah,
really, not really kind of questioning until I finally got to the Karuna Reiki, because that goes to the very core of where the trauma started, and then
right,
it purges it out, like running the water under, like the dirty water or something like that, running water until it flushes out, so
mhm,
that's what it does. And so it did that, and it I just started seeing all of this information of the super soldier and alien stuff, and I was afraid
right,
that if I looked at like any alien stuff I'm going to get abducted, so I was still in
mhm,
fear mode. So I had to
right,
kind of work through all of this on my own, but the taking the Reiki really assisted me in being able to heal it faster, because I
right.
needed to
Do you
be able
have
to
any
move through it.
do you have memories when you were younger of abductions or anything, through the years before that, or
It's finding out through the Karuna Reiki, seeing
mhm,
it happen, seeing like
right,
an
yep,
overview from overhead,
yep,
like I'm a oversoul or overview of how that happened. So that's how I'm able to look
right,
at all these experiences is from overhead. So I don't feel it and experience the trauma,
yep,
because people will ask
gotcha,
me, how do you talk about this and see all this dark stuff, and
yep,
how do you do that? So
yep.
this is how
Yeah, you
it's
gotta be an
just
observer.
coming above and looking at it, observing it,
Mhm,
yeah, and not
yep,
not going back into it. So you can kind of
yep,
feel it, and, but you kind of move through it. So
Yeah, right.
so
And
yeah.
can you explain to us, because most people, like I said, this is very new, not new as in not known, but it's new for most people that they have no idea what Super Soldier is, what the program is. They have no idea of the ET side of what you're talking about. Can you give us, without awakening anyone else's trauma or concern about their memories, is there any way you can explain to us a little bit about what is that? Because everyone talks about super soldier, everyone talks about other type of ET type things, whether it's abductions or other ideals or memories or experiences they've had. But what
Mhm.
is the super soldier program really? Like, what is it? What is it you're talking about?
So I'll tell you from how I kind of discovered it, and then that way
Yep.
it's easier to talk about, firsthand.
Mhm.
So I started looking at the super soldier talk, and then that first and was resonating with what they're saying, and I started questioning of why are they, uh, why does this resonate? They're talking about being on like Mars or a
Mhm.
craft, and then I'm able to it feels familiar in these programs. So it's like a piece of you is there, or you feel
Yep.
like you've been there, almost like a past life memory or something in you feels
Mhm.
familiar with this, and or you've seen yourself or you watch these shows, these movies of them, like the Marvel shows and stuff like that. So and that feels like familiar. So you wonder what is this? Why? And you see yourself being able, and you wonder why you have like these abilities or drawn to like shooting or combat. So there's like a
Yep.
reason, because these is like, so how it happened for me is being taken out like at 5 years old, and it's taken out of this reality and then abducted by the ETs is what
Mhm.
happens. And so
Right.
you're abducted, they can stop time. And then so time stops in this reality. And then you're put over here or taken over here. I'm just saying like over here just to give it a separate, but they
Yep.
just they take your DNA, take all samples of any aspects, parts of you, your consciousness. So they're doing all this experiments and stuff on you, and then they're going to put you back and push play
Right.
again, and so your life starts, so people will have 20 and back terms, and they'll wake up, and nothing will be changed, like they'll be sleeping or
Yep.
something, and then they'll be put back, and then you wouldn't even know you've been gone 20 years unless you
Yeah,
started
right.
having memories later. So I think a lot of
Mhm.
people have had this because we wouldn't even know that we were
No,
gone,
that's right.
at all, because
Right.
most of the time they probably take us when we're sleeping. So
Yeah.
and then you just are taken out, like your consciousness is extracted, and then
Right.
they clone all of this stuff. They take all these
Mhm.
samples of you. So then over here now they have all this stuff of you, and now they're going to have, they can make clones. They can make clones that look just like you. They can make anything alien.
Right.
They can make a man, a woman, a child. They can clone. They can make anything like a avatar. Like if it's a cookie
Okay.
cutter kind of thing, they can make it
Yep.
to anything at
Yep.
all.
Right.
And put your consciousness, a piece of your consciousness, so it's a fractal of you. So you'll still have these memories when this aspect of you over here dies, then it's going to be kind of returned to the consciousness, the
Right.
memories of
Okay.
that life.
Yep.
So you'll have some kind of a memory of that. They're wondering like what is going on. So these are those memories over here that's
Right.
happened
Okay.
in all these
Yep.
programs. So they're running all of these programs of people, and sending them to different places all over space to do
Mhm.
slave work. Why they want why they want humans as slaves and food is just because it's cheaper labor. That's
Gotcha.
why,
Right.
so they use the
Yep.
slaves.
Yep.
There's no payment at all. You can be working 20 years someplace,
Wow.
or more. There's more than that. They just say 20 years, but it's
Yep.
most of the time it's probably more than that, and then they just say, okay, your time's ending, do you want to return, or and they're like, no, I want to return home. But then they're like, well, we got this one thing coming up and we really need you for 20 more years, you know. And then they're like, no, but then they still do it. So they still
Right,
keep you,
okay.
they trick you, you know, into
Yep.
redoing it too. So there's
Returning.
kind of
Gotcha.
never ending really, because you're
Right.
monitored too for the rest of your for the rest of that time, because they're watching to make sure that your memory doesn't come back in that clone,
Gotcha.
that
Yep.
in this from this clone's memory, you know. So they've
Okay.
returned you, but you still are kind of getting these memories of things,
Yeah, right.
of being on places or whatever, and like, what is
Yep.
going on? So some people kind of start kind of going crazy, so they would be
Mhm.
most likely being watched, you know, and stuff, and
Yep.
monitored, so they'd be taken maybe to underground base and then reprogrammed, or
Okay.
memory wiped and reprogrammed, so they don't have anything at all again, so their mind is blank from all of that. So
Right.
so that happens to, I would think, to the majority of people, and in some way, you know, either
Mhm.
alien contact
Yep.
or the government taking the people, you know, military, it's
Mhm.
military,
Yep.
and it's the shadow side of it. So it's not the
Mhm.
front that you see, you know, it's these like the my lab, some military abductions that happen where they would come and get you, extract you from, most happen in the night when they're sleeping. People wake up and they see military people come in their room, and then they just go blank. They black
Yep.
out because they spray stuff or put stuff, and then they just black out, you know, and then they wake
Right,
up and
okay.
then they're
Wow.
someplace else, like in a base
Mhm.
or something, or on
Yep.
a table. So there's different scenarios that people say too with that. So
Okay.
yeah, it's lots of things going on with that. And I think more people are, because there's so many aspects of us out here that have been, our consciousness cloned, you know, and all these
Yeah.
people, all these
Yep.
different realities. So these things come back, you know, to you,
Mhm.
as they die, as those aspects die, then you'll be
Oh,
remembered.
okay. Right.
So that's that part of it, and then
Yep.
there's more of it to where it's like the Montauk, and you know, the Montauk is going to be the same kind of, where your consciousness is in a body, another body, and then um do you want to get into that yet, or do you want to ask questions about
No, no, you
go
just
into that?
go straight in. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so with the Montauk, this is an aspect of me, you know, that was
Mhm.
used in the program, and then at an early age, it looks like it's like um it I called it the Project Ibis, is what I'm remembering from that. But it's being
Mhm.
underground military looking catacomb base, and then I remember seeing like a plexiglass thing like that and kept behind, and there's like a twin bed for me and twin bed for another little boy, you know, so it's just me and him in
Right.
this room.
Yep.
And then it was just like a hall, like a walkway, you know, it's underground cave like, so you don't see
Okay.
out, nothing like
Yep.
that. And then people just walk by, the scientists walk by, so I see that. But there was like these owl, they dressed up in like owl mask, and they would just stand there and stare in the thing at us. And so I would get really scared with that, you know, and
Yep.
I would cover my head up and stuff like that, and even scooted our beds close together like that. So
Yeah.
these kids,
Yep.
there's like, it's like a science lab, and it's like a military base. So that place was kind of um is really like a lot of technology stuff too, because they would have us and they would put cybernetics in our body, in our legs. They'd have us kids on the table, and then
Yep.
be putting stuff in our legs, so in our head too, setting us up, and then putting things like in our head, maybe the implants or electroshock or something like that. So there's all kinds
Mhm.
of experiments being done and being sent out to do like these honeypot, you know, things too. So we would be used in
Yep. Yep.
blackmail these high ranking, I would think, officials that they wanted money from or something like that, you know.
Mhm.
And that's where I saw that Michael Aquino. He was in this place, and his
Righto.
wife too. Both of them were, and they
Yep.
were the main people doing the torture and experiments and kind of doing everything there and having rituals and everything too. Because I seen him like
Mhm.
having a ritual as well, like,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah,
all
I've
of
heard
his
about all
little
that.
kids
Mhm.
were like kneeling down there, and he was sacrificing one of the kids there for trauma. So
Right.
so from
Yeah.
there, then they sent me to Montauk. So that was like at
Yep.
age 7, I was sent to Montauk, and then arrived like in a van, and it's covered a cage, like a dog cage covered up. But
Mhm.
these kids there, they were young kids too that was in the program as well. So
Mhm.
these guys was um like 14 years old, 15 years old, and it's um there was like four guys and two girls, most of the time that I seen. And then they
Yep.
had other bases too that would come in when there was things going on. But most of the time it was just these core people there that were like the
Mhm.
teachers, handlers,
Yep.
and they would have to go. They kept all of us. It was like 6 of us kids is what I was seeing in my
Mhm.
memory of that. And we were kept like in at the it was like a long elevator going down, and then it was like at the basement and coming out, and it's like in the basement area it's all kind of dungeon looking, and then
Yep.
each cage had like a room, their own room, each one. So
Righto.
they
Yep.
put me in right at the bottom on the left there, and then they could close the door, leave it open, however, like that. But I was in that dog cage. Each one of them was,
Yep.
and I was already traumatized from the other, so
Mhm.
I knew not to. I was quiet, I didn't say
Yep.
anything or nothing or
Yep.
cry. Um,
Yep.
so the guys, they would come down and they were arguing on like, what are we going to do with these kids, we don't, because they were traumatized and they were kids,
Mm.
they kind of didn't want to get in trouble either. So
Yep.
it was that Al Bielek and Preston Nichols was the ones that was above them, that was their
Mhm.
handlers and owners,
Mhm.
controllers, so they would
Yep.
be waiting on them to tell them what to do with us. So we
Right.
just stayed down there until they knew what to do with us.
Yep. Yep.
So I wrote a book on this too.
Yep. That's right.
I did come up with the pictures and everything in the book. It's in my the
Yep.
Montauk book, Time Soldier. So I show where we arrive,
Yep.
and then in the kids all have these psionic abilities. That's why they're brought there, is because they have
Okay.
these abilities already.
Yep.
So
That's right. Yep.
they want all these kids that have certain abilities, and so they're going to be used as time travelers, to go and
Mhm.
manipulate timelines. They
Yep.
can open up portals with their
Yep.
mind, and when they're in that chair, and then that chair enhances their abilities. So they want
Yep. Right.
kids because the kids are pure, they don't have all of
That's right.
this life experience. So
Mhm.
and and they also pick these kids who are also already traumatized because they can easily create altars, and then now this altar is
Okay.
going to
Yep.
be something that they want, and they just go do that and then they return back. So all the kids there have disassociation, their mind has been
Okay. Yep.
split, so
Fractured. Yep.
from trauma. Yeah,
Yep.
so a lot of us there, we can withstand any kind of pain because we're used to that. We're used to the, like, pain doesn't even hurt. They can do anything
Yep.
at all and we don't feel it because we can move our mind over here, and the new altar
Mhm.
here would be up front that can withstand that pain.
Right. Okay.
So we can
Wow.
so I could they could do whatever,
Yep.
and that altar doesn't even react,
Right.
doesn't
Okay.
doesn't feel anything.
Yeah. So
So there was lots of stuff going on.
is it just the human side of that they take in, or is it does that come into some of the hybrid programs where they hybrid children, things like that? Or is it just here, humanity,
Just the military. Yeah.
just the military side?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah, that I experienced. Now
Yep.
they have other programs and stuff going, and I did,
Mhm.
in the book I show too that, you know, they did have make me have 4 babies there, but they would take all the
Mhm.
babies and
Yep.
they would use that as a way to traumatize me more too, saying, "Well,
Mhm.
you didn't do your job, so you can't see your baby." But the baby, they never brought the baby. You know, there was
No.
just
Yep.
psychological
Yep.
trauma that they were doing there.
Yep.
So yeah, but those babies were mixed with the other Montauk person that was my
Okay.
teacher there, handler there,
Yep.
and so they were like a super, supernatural kind of DNA already then. So
Yep.
they could have mixed it with any DNA,
Yeah,
gray or
exactly.
reptilian,
Yeah,
so they
that's
could
right. Yep.
with any DNA, and then just sent
Wow.
it out and whatever they
Yep.
wanted to do because they had that, so
Yeah. Yep.
no telling what they did with it after the baby was born.
Yeah, exactly. Gosh
Mhm.
knows what programming has happened there. So,
Yeah. I never met any of them that I know of,
yep. Yep.
any of I don't even know if I would remember or recognize them,
Yeah, true.
you know?
Possibly not. Yeah,
Yeah, because I
exactly.
didn't get to really bond with them, you know?
No, no, you'd have no rapport of any sort, no
Mm-mm.
connection. Mm.
No. No, but there in Montauk, we would have the time where we would just be sitting in the chair, and then they would have us go on missions of it's
Mhm.
manipulating timelines, but
Yep.
also training too, or all of us going like time soldiers going like as a whole group of us
Yep.
traveling together. And I think it's more we can physically go through portals or we can mentally project our consciousness, and so either way, but a lot of
Mhm.
us would just travel through the portal there, and then whatever we had to do, whatever we're told to
Yep.
do, and then we come back and our mind is erased, so
Yep.
it's constant
That's
go
right.
and then come back and we're erased. So it's
Yep.
lots of missions like that. So they
Yep.
kind of
That's
all
right.
bleed together, or it's just snapshots of things that I remember from that.
Yep.
So the real memories are from being at the base with the guys, the teacher handler guys, and how
Mhm.
they treated us. And so those memories are um, more upfront than any traveling part,
Right,
you know?
okay.
hmm
Gotcha. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow. Have you got an image of the chair? 'Cause I know that's in your
Yeah.
book, for those people that
Yeah.
may have the memory of that, would like to know.
Yeah. That's because it's the ET technology. The chair is, so
Mhm.
it's used to enhance your abilities. They use their mind to
Yep.
move things, to transport themselves, to move
Mhm.
through dimensions and realities. Um,
Yep. That's right.
so it's so here's this one is my drawing of it.
Mhm.
You can kind of see there, and then the Montauk, the time traveler chair. So it's going to be.
Yep.
It looks kind of like a Sometimes people describe it as like a dentist chair. You
Yep.
know
Gotcha.
how that looks with
Yep.
the feet right there, and
Yep.
then the hands. So they would be right. The handlers, they come on both sides, and then
Yep.
they bring the altar forward, and then they give the whatever the mission is, and then you just go do it, and
Yep.
then you come back and then they erase it, by
Okay.
electroshock,
Yep. Gotcha.
like that. And then the inside of the base, that's what that looks like here. The main
Yep.
area
Mhm.
that we would have to gather to all the time to do
Yep.
things, to meet, or wait. Um yes, oh so see here's what that looks like there with them
Yep.
sitting in the chair and then being electroshocked, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then that other this is how many altars, like this here is like altars in the mind. So the
Yep.
main part is the middle there, but then all of these are
Mhm.
splits. and
Right.
altars created of subaltars, and then each one of them you need a code to access those altars.
Mhm.
So many of the altars, they're still in our mind, but there's no access code,
Right.
to
Okay.
get to them, so they just kind of
Yep.
just stay there. Here's a big picture of that, of being in the in
Yeah.
the is that blurry?
No, that's okay. I can see that one.
Yeah, see how
Yeah.
it's
Yep.
bigger. And then being in the cage there.
Yep. Horrendous, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like those
Yep.
those aspects that they just don't feel anything.
No,
These
obviously not.
aspects who've been tortured, they just
Yep.
don't have any, there's no feeling at all, you know?
Wow.
Yeah.
I can understand why though.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
w- we we were aware today too that everything that is spoken about may be a trigger for some people. It may be triggering for those people that are aware that they've had this experience, but also might trigger some people that their memories are locked away. So because of that, I said to Christy that if anyone wants to come and see you to help unlock, heal, or to work with the traumas that are associated with that. So if
Yes.
anybody has anything that happens after this, we'd want you to know that you need to go and see Christy. If anything, you have any dreams or memories or anything that do unlock from this podcast today, half the reason we're here is that for those that haven't had anywhere to go to or have been living in the traumas or the memories and they're only just awakening to them or they've had them for a while and didn't know what to do, have struggled, that's part of what Christy's mission is. She's got many reasons she's here, but one of her missions is for those who've been through these programs. So if anything today that you're not sure of, or even if you just like to go and find out, if you got just a feeling by listening to her story that you go that almost feels familiar, then go and see her because she will help you not only to process it, but she'll help you to unlock it safely. Because it's very important to not sit with these memories and just ignore or wait and see what that might be or how you feel about it. It is important to go to somebody for that reason because
Mhm.
going to Christie is the chance you'll get to be with someone who knows exactly and understands exactly who you are, what you've been through, help you discover that, maybe even help you to find out what you don't understand, and many other things. She can help
Mhm.
you release the traumas. And yeah, she'll explain that to you when you go and see her because it's a vast explanation within
Mhm.
that about unlocking
Yeah.
codes and things like
Yep.
that. So,
Lots of
and,
people
and
have questions of if they were taken as a child by aliens or by the military, or they see
yep,
the military in their room, and
absolutely.
they ask if I
Yep,
can help look further, if they have implants, or if they've been
yep,
on a ship, if they're in the program. So there's
exactly.
all kinds of questions, and you
Hmm.
can ask any question at all, and
That's right.
I can help look for that,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
and it's like
Yeah,
soul retrieval in a way too, because you might
it is.
even ask about your ex or something, why we had this kid, and so
Mhm.
then I can help you understand his his or her background of that too, of why he's kind of like that. So you kind of heal that as well. It kind of helps heal, or it almost releases that, the hatred, or and you
Yep,
know what I mean, like that. And
yep,
then I can see through him the mother, of why, so I can
exactly.
see the line of where the
Yep,
trauma started, and I explain that to you, so
yep,
now you have understanding, and now it doesn't feel like you hate him as much, because you
exactly.
understand, and you can feel compassion for them, even though they might not even understand that they've been in
Mm,
a program,
that's right.
so
Exactly right.
but I can see it in that, so
Yeah, that's right. And
yeah.
there's no judgment on Chris and I were talking about this before we came live. There's no judgment on any of the work that we do because, you've got to have a unconditional open mind to have these abilities to help other people because you can't sit with them and have judgment on what they may have been made to do or be a part of or who they really are because they themselves are entrapped, they themselves are victims in that consciousness or that program. So
Mhm.
when you come in, when Christy helps you unlock or helps you to heal this, just understand that she has an open heart. There is no judgment. on what you've been through, what you've seen, what you've experienced, what you remember. And that's the beauty of what she does. Oh, go
Mhm.
away.
Yeah, and I do the sessions on Zoom, so I'd record it and send you the recording,
Yeah,
to help
that's
you
right.
later to relook back at anything.
Yeah,
So,
because it is a lot to talk about when you're in a session. And
mhm,
sometimes what can happen is that, like, I've been to Christy, and there'll be a couple more things for sure. As she's talking, I'm remembering. So, um, what it did for me is it just helped me to let go of the fear of not that I didn't understand, but I didn't understand it to the depth that she can explain. So she helped me even just to feel comfortable, not to be afraid or feel guilty for whatever that I have been a part of in any way, and that's what she will do for you as well. So
oh,
she can
thank
help
you.
you sit with it. She can help
Yeah,
you look at it, like she said, as an observer, but she can bring you into it as an observer as well, so you don't relive anything. Because there's a lot of things, even myself, that I have experienced, and a lot of those sort of things, people for some reason judge and aren't comfortable with. And I understand that because to them it's unfamiliar. They don't even know what the heck you're talking about sometimes. But
yeah,
for people that have been through these sort of things and they have been traumatic, there's moments where you just wish you had someone to say, look, this happened, they came, did this, what the heck's going on?
mhm,
And it helps you to release that emotion that
yeah,
it's put you through, you know what I mean?
yeah,
So that you
yeah,
don't feel like you're a stranger or a weirdo or there's something mentally wrong with you. Because I'm
no,
telling you, those sort of experiences, you can't make those up. They happen.
no,
You know what I mean? When they're right in
mhm,
front of you and they're picture clear and it's like watching the TV screen and they're right there in your room or wherever it may be and that's happening, you're not that's not a dream. You're not making that up. And they're
no,
so real you can touch them. So there's a lot of people that have been through many things that they don't even know. Sometimes they think it's a dream state, but I can tell you now that when you're seeing things like this, that's not that it is in can be in dream state, but it's not it is real. That's all I can say. It is
yeah,
really going on. And there's a
mhm,
lot of people on this earth that a lot of their traumas, their childhood traumas, and a lot of memories that they have where they are struggling and can't cope mentally or emotionally, what they don't know sometimes is that, yes, it can be life has done that to you, but there might be something behind that that you're not aware of that has caused that. And it's
yeah,
very important
yeah.
to dig deep safely.
Yeah,
So,
because the Karuna
okay.
Reiki, it goes to the very core of where the trauma started, so
Yep.
it could be anything too. It could be a
That's
past
exactly right.
life, or you can
Yep.
ask any question. It doesn't have to be super soldier,
No.
alien, however, it can be
Mhm.
anything,
That's exactly
So,
right.
I just wanna
That's
open
exactly right.
that up too, yeah.
Yeah,
So, because
yeah.
people
Right.
need someone to help them look at some trauma that happened, maybe someone to talk to about it that offers
Yep.
compassion,
Yep.
to help heal that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that too.
Yeah. 'Cause there's so many levels, for just about everyone on this planet of some sort of trauma, whether it's minute or extremely
Yeah.
excessive trauma. And
Mhm.
you know, sometimes going outside of people like yourself, that helps a little, but I find that some of that stuff doesn't go deep enough for people like ourselves. Because how can you say to someone who doesn't know anything about this or is not like you, by the way, this happened?
Yeah.
They lock you up. They lock you up straight away, or they put you
Mhm.
on some sort of medication.
Medication. Yeah.
And that doesn't help because that double blocks the trauma,
Does.
and
Yeah.
then now you're living in a complete cage of that problem, that trauma itself. You can't get out.
Yeah.
The idea of this is to get out of it a little bit so that you don't
Mhm.
have to keep feeling it and reliving it
Mhm.
over and over, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
'Cause when I came and saw you, I said to you that the one thing that I spoke about, and there's a couple more, but the one thing I spoke about, I said to you, I was reliving it. I was
Oh.
reliving it over and over. So when I said to you, "Look, I'm reliving it. How do I stop that?" And that's when you dug in and said, "Well, this is what it is."
Mhm.
And that made a big difference because now I don't feel like I'm crazy, basically.
Yeah.
Simple as
Yeah.
that. There's
Yeah,
nothing wrong with
sometimes
me.
that's all it
Mm.
takes is just someone
Yep.
to help with that, so
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
There's various levels of different people need healing in different, ways or seeing stuff, so
Yep. That's
I
right.
can send Reiki, I can
Yep.
write symbols,
Yep.
to help, if that's what's needed or
Yep.
however. So I work on
Yep.
different levels of things, so
You've also created your own now they're not cards as in tarot cards and things like that. We're talking about a totally different system. But can you show us what you created? She's also created because she does language code. her light language codes, extraterrestrial coding, and imagery and things like that help people to heal and
Yeah.
unlock. Can you just
So
show us some of those? Yep.
on the cards here, and then I would just write symbols, to these kind of help if people are like looking for answers in a way. So this might kind of be these. I draw these intuitively when the
Mhm.
person's asking me, talking and stuff like that. So and then
Righto.
I'll just
Okay.
tune into them, and then so if it's something like that, so the
Yep.
ET there, then will be, I'll say ET because that's what we're used to,
Mhm.
and then that's their message. So
Mhm.
those codes will give a download or information, or and
Yep.
maybe it won't. So then
Yep.
there's other cards too. So like, so then like Galactic Council.
Mhm.
So even though they might not be remembering, maybe they might know about it, or maybe it's just some information too. So I just
Mhm.
kind of do that as well. So
Yeah.
this kind
When
of
you
helps.
did mine, you actually asked me, you said to me not only what they are, but you also you get the person. So for myself, when I came and saw you, you asked me, "What do you see? What do you feel from that? What do you feel that means to you?" And by getting me to think about that and have a look, even if you don't know what it is, it doesn't matter. But for people like myself, you go, "This feels like this is a memory, this is something that I've seen before, this is something that I know or is familiar." That helps to unlock those memories as
Mhm.
well, helps to
Yeah,
heal them.
exactly.
So, it was
Even
really
I
interesting.
even just draw the images of
Yep,
them too, like here,
yep,
you can kind of see how that is, how they look, just the
yep,
symbols. And so sometimes like those will bring out, oh, those guys look familiar. I don't
that's
know
right.
where I've seen them before, you
Yep,
know, or they don't at all, so, but
that's right.
I'll just keep going, and then maybe one of them,
Yep,
maybe one will, so
that's right.
all of my
It's really cool.
artwork here is all done at different times. It's
Yep,
done like a stream of consciousness from being a galactic emissary, of seeing all
mhm,
of these different races of beings and
yep,
interacting with them, knowing them, and aspects of myself too. So it's like a
yeah,
stream of
exactly.
information um
Yep,
that I'll get. So it's like a feeling I have when I'm wanting to do my drawings and stuff.
yep,
So, and just the same as my books too. So now I've moved to books, putting it all in the books and stuff so I could
yep,
sell that, so people
yep,
could um like the Galactic Scribe, and then I've filled it with pages of my artwork. So it's
yep,
gonna have um every page, and there's 16 of them on Amazon of the art books, and
okay,
they're all different.
yep.
They're
I
they're
put that
all
link in there for those that wanna
they're,
have a look at that too.
they're all
Amazon
different. Mhm.
under Christy Campbell CC33.
Yeah,
There's a link in the event notice, so I'll put that back up again later just to remind people. So if you wanna go and have a look to see
yeah.
all her books, I think I'd like to have a look at the Montauk and some of that
Yeah, yeah.
stuff. I think that'd be
Yeah.
really important for me to read that.
Yeah.
That's where you'll find it all. So if you can't find the link, let me know and I'll repost it. That's no problem. So you're gonna have a
Mhm.
look. You also, did children's books too, is that right? There was a children's
Yeah.
book I thought I saw.
Yeah, this one I wrote, this one was
Oh,
my
yep,
first
that's the
one,
one.
Luna's Spirit Door. So it's about a little girl who is real sensitive, and so it's helping her to establish boundaries, and
Yep,
like little affirmations she can say to help her energies to protect herself, and
yep,
or to protect her energy throughout the day, at school and
nice.
stuff. And then I also wrote one on so I made it in a more positive way,
Yep,
because they're not all negative, so
no,
Jacob, he has ET friends that come and visit, and so they
yep,
take him on an adventure on their ship at night, so that's what
nice.
this book is about. And I made all the artwork,
Yep,
on ChatGPT I did it, but
yep,
you have
yep.
to program each page
You
to
gotta create
make
it,
it.
yep.
Mhm. And then also made one for the hybridization program. So,
Oh, yep, okay.
and I made it more of a positive twist too. So she's being
Mhm,
taken during her sleep time. She's gonna be
mhm,
taken on the ship, and then they're gonna she's gonna give her DNA to the gray, and then they're gonna have
mhm,
see they're giving their DNA, and
yep,
then and then she's going to have a hybrid baby with him, you know.
Yep.
So
Gotcha.
she stays there on the ship, and she'll come and go all the time, but helping the other little kids too, you know, while
Yeah.
she's there.
Yeah.
So
It's not all that's
so
negative, right? So a lot of that
yeah,
that people have actually offered an agreement or a contract to do so,
yeah,
to
yeah.
help a
See,
civilization
she's
in a
helping.
positive aspect to evolve.
Yeah, because
It's
all of
not
these
all
little kids.
negative grays. Yeah.
Yeah, because all of them, they're kind of orphans, you know?
Yeah.
So they don't
Yeah.
have, a mom or dad, they just
No,
live there on the ship because they don't look, human enough to fit
that's
into
right.
this reality, and, you
Yeah.
know, they're too advanced and stuff, so they're too high of a vibration to fit into this reality, so they live on
Exactly.
ships. So
Yeah.
it just shows kinda her, relationship with the
Yeah.
gray, and so
Yeah.
and then he puts her back to sleep, and so she wakes up the next morning and is wondering, like, was that a dream, you know? So
Yeah.
she
Exactly.
doesn't really, it's not like really, physically, he takes her in her dream time, so it's kind
Yep.
of like a lot of
Yep.
people have that happen where they're
Yeah, they
like,
do.
did I just dream that? But it did
Yep.
happen, you know.
Yeah,
So
trust me, if you think you're having a dream that's like that, then no.
mhm,
Because, dreams are
yeah,
what they can be all goofy and a bit messed up, but when you're having unusual dreams that are coming in where it's going down that road, well, then it's time to if you're interested, it's time to have a look at that, otherwise you can just go about your life, but there's a lot of
yeah.
people stuff that they don't remember or don't understand what they're having, so they don't talk about it. That's quite common, so,
Yeah, and
yeah,
it's men and women who are taken to give their
yep,
genetics, you know, and
exactly.
that's throughout the many hybridization programs too. There's
Yeah,
hybridization programs
mhm.
for probably all species, you know,
Oh, for
because it
sure.
just
There has
helps
to be.
it helps make their race stronger, you know, if there's
Yeah,
more of them
yeah,
with the and mixed DNA too to for
yeah,
their
that's
hybrid
right.
program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you okay, so this is like this is a lot for one person to live, right? This is a lot for one person to find out, reawaken, bring the memories, and live a quality of life. How do you handle for those people that have or are going through things like this or are this type of empath, how do you live your normal life the best you can when you start waking up or remembering? How do you deal with all this? What method have you used besides Reiki? Is
Mhm.
how do you live your normal everyday life? Have you found a way to keep yourself reasonably peaceful, feeling reasonably happy in your life?
Uh,
How do you go about that?
yeah,
Some people don't handle it well. You know what I mean?
for me, I like to do my books, so it's finding something that
Yep.
you're passionate about, whether it's like,
Yeah.
creative, something that you do that you're
Mhm.
creative at, you know? It
Yep.
can be anything at all, something that you brings out your
Yep.
creativity. And then so something with that, and then doing some sort of exercise too to release,
Mhm.
um, all the mental stuff, you know?
Yep.
So jogging, walking, whatever it is, whatever, that would be for you, you know?
Yep.
So
Gotcha.
that's what I do, and,
Mhm.
I do spend, quite a bit of time by myself, though, you know,
Yep.
I don't really go out and drink, I don't have that urge
No,
to
me
do that,
neither.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I don't
Yeah, I think we're
I
very
used
similar in a
to.
lot of ways.
Yeah,
Very
like
similar,
I used to before
Yeah.
I had the awakening and stuff, and then all
Alright.
of a
Yep.
sudden it just kinda like, all of a
On.
sudden I just started feeling like I had high blood pressure if I drank, so I'm like, "This must
Not
be because
true.
my vibration changed or something like
Yeah, it
that,"
would have
you know?
been. Yeah, it would have
So,
been.
anytime I drink, even just a little bit, then my whole face gets red,
Yeah.
so I just stopped. It doesn't make me feel good at all, you
Yeah.
know? So
No,
something
I was
with
probably
that.
lucky. I was never a drinker, anything like that. My
Mhm.
body just wouldn't process it anyway. So it's not
Yeah.
first time I ever tried, it's like, it's just some part of me just went, "Not happening." Just shut it off completely.
Yeah.
So it
Mhm.
affects my nervous system, so I can't even take that sort of toxins in on
Mhm.
any level. I've got to be very careful. It literally, puts me in a hyper, sensitive state, so a fight or
Oh,
flight state.
man.
So, yeah, so I
Yeah.
can't. But that's just I'm like that with a lot of things. That's just the way I am. But I'm very much the same. I'm an introvert. I spend a lot of time by myself. If I don't have my husband, it would still be the same, and things like that. We live a very quiet life. But I
Mhm.
find for the work that I do and the things that I'm aware of and know and what I've been through as well, I've always been that way.
Mhm.
I
Yep.
find I cope with my abilities better by being born introverted in that aspect. But it also comes
Yeah.
down to, as you know, some of the stuff that I've been through. So I find that for me to be quiet in my own energy helps a lot. That
Mhm.
keeps out a lot of me taking on too much of anything outside of myself, like
Yep.
energy, people, life. I've never been a partier, I've never been a drinker, all that sort of stuff. I've always just been probably, or actually, when you said you were like you were when you were a child, that's what I was like.
Yeah.
Quiet, shy,
Yeah.
didn't speak much, kept to myself.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's interesting. And is
Yeah.
there a lot of people that go through this sort of stuff? Are they like that, or they sort of vary a little, do you
They do
think? Or
vary. Yep, they
yeah,
vary.
okay.
It's like the memories. A lot of people do remember seeing things in childhood, but it's been kind of
Yep,
erased, but they
yep,
kinda
gotcha.
remember. And
Yep,
then and then some people have no memory of anything, and then
yeah,
they're like,
right.
"I just know something's going on though, so can you help
Yeah,
me? 'Cause I
yeah,
know something. I know they just feel it, within their
yep,
body and stuff,
yep.
something's going on." So just
Right.
trying to help them find stuff, 'cause I'm having to help them find it too within themselves,
Yeah,
'cause it's, like, buried. So it's, like,
yeah, it
going
would
through
be.
things with them, so it's, like,
Wow.
peeling out all the dirt, just try to
Yep,
find what it is, so
yep.
kinda like that.
Pinpoint it and start from
Yeah.
there. Wow, it's
Sometimes
a
it
lot,
takes
isn't it?
several sessions to
Yeah, it would.
really, find it, 'cause
Yeah,
it's there, and then, okay, deal with that process, and then if you feel like you need to come back, then do that
yep,
too. So,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think if they're coming to you for that reason, that one would never be enough. There's no way,
Right.
because there's going to be stuff coming up that you have, even for people that are awake and aware of a lot of this. There's going to be stuff in there that they're not aware of. There's going
Mhm.
to be layers upon layers of God knows how many lifetimes that'll be present
Yeah.
when they've
Yeah,
been out
'cause
in
I
that
can
universe.
see
So
past life. I can do
yeah,
past life.
exactly. Yep,
If you say past life or other timeline, it's all kinda
yep.
it's said called past life, but it's just another timeline, so
Just
it's
another
all in
timeline.
your
Yep,
yeah, it's all in your auric field,
yep,
so you can just feel it's, like, packed in, so you kinda have to
yep,
go through it like that,
yep.
so,
Yeah, and
yeah.
it's worth it in the end because you get a sense of not only knowing yourself and figure out who you are, but you get a
Yep.
peace from it because
Mhm. You
someone
do.
speaks your language. They
Yep.
understand you, they speak the same language, and it helps immensely, especially for empaths that don't understand themselves fully and are struggling with their emotions and their own minds and life
Mhm.
in general. They're not coping or not fitting in. So I find a lot of people that have gone down this road or have those memories, they really don't fit in as well. There's always a
Yeah.
non-fitting in feeling that comes in with that, and you can't blame them because they are completely different to the world around them. So
Mhm. Yeah, and most people who would, um, come to me then would have questions come up, it's
yeah,
not gonna be someone who doesn't have anything at
no,
all, because
no, that's right.
they're not ready to hear anything.
No, not in
So,
that depth. Mm,
yeah. But if
exactly.
if they can still ask, but
Yeah,
they have to be willing to bend a little bit,
yep,
and
be open.
but nobody has come to me that's just like, "I need help, can you help me, find whatever,"
Mhm.
and then they're like, "No, no," they usually, you know, that
No,
doesn't
they wouldn't be
happen.
drawn to to you at all, like,
Yeah.
not if they're not a part of that or, yeah, open
Mhm.
to something a little different, so
Right, right.
alright. Well, we're coming near the end of our segment. We could go on for hours. I think last time we got together it was 3 hours, so we did really well. It's like
Mm.
time went on. So what I do ask anyone that comes on my podcast at the end of the conversation or the podcast itself is that there's anything they would like to offer. So you have many options of that. It can be a message, a reading, it can be just something about your abilities you'd like to share and show. I usually leave that up to the person that's on the podcast,
Yeah.
just to help other people or in some way. That would be
So
wonderful.
if
Thank you.
if I wrote some light language, then do you feel like,
That'd be great.
maybe if you could, maybe translate or any
Yep,
kind of
we'll see what
message
it
too
is.
to help with that in that
Okie dokie,
way?
we'll have a look.
Maybe something with
No
that.
worries.
That's what I was feeling, to give like
Okie
a
doke.
light language code for everybody.
And while she's doing that, if there's anybody here that is would like to come onto my podcast, I do screen everyone that comes in to ask me. Usually contact me through Facebook Messenger to come and let me know who you are and what you'd like to talk about. But I'm looking for people that are a little different now. I'm looking for people that have stories, because this podcast is not so much a spiritual podcast. It is, but it's also very much on the line of UFOs, abductees, this type of stuff that Christy is talking about, things that are a little different, new information, stuff that may not be known to a lot of people, that they may not have heard of. If you've had any experiences with abductions or UFOs, ETs, I call them star people because it's a little nicer. We do have a negative connotation, unfortunately, a lot of the stuff. And you'd like to come and be on my podcast to be interviewed, message me on Facebook Messenger. Let me know a little brief idea or video record a message of who you are, what you've experienced, just briefly. But I do want to let you know there are some things that we don't go into, because I'm not here to frighten people or to upset or trigger too much. But we are here to open people up and awaken them to what really has gone on this planet. And there's a lot of people that have been through abductions, have seen UFOs, have had UFOs come to them physically right in front of them. We're not talking about dreams, we're talking about really have happened. I'm one of those. So if there's anything you'd like to share or you'd like to talk about, even if it's not that and you'd like to talk about your spiritual journey, if you have unusual abilities or gifts that you'd like to share and talk about, or some sort of story to do with your spiritual journey, then do message me, Facebook Messenger. And like I said, I screen everybody. I have to, because I've had a couple when I first started that were, yeah, we just can't go there. Like it's a bit too out of the box, all right? Like I said, so yeah, let me know who you are first. And please don't be offended if I say no, if I feel it's not correct for the podcast. It's nothing personal. It's just a responsibility I have not to bring energies or people in that are not good. All right, let's just put it that way and keep it simple without judgment. So I'm looking for new people. All right, I've got another, it'll be within probably next month or something like that. I've got another lady coming in shortly on the podcast we interviewed. So it'll be in the future. And then, of course, it'll go, because we're near the end of the year, I can't believe it. It'll go into the Christmas period, and then I'll be looking for people for next year. So if you know, even Christy, if you know anyone that you think that would be really, really
Okay.
interesting or worth listening to or interviewing, please let
Yeah.
me know. Because I know there's a couple people there and I'm like, oh, maybe I should ask them. I don't know them, but maybe I should ask them. They've got some
Yeah.
incredible abilities and information about who they are and what they've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Let me know if there's anybody on here that can think of anybody that would be perfect for the podcast to interview. Send them my way or message me and let them know, and I'll message them and ask them. I'm happy to pop out and say, hi, I'm Mirantha. Would you be interested in my podcast? What we're trying to do is this is about awakening people, but it's also allowing people to do with the UFO side of it or the star people side of it that have had unusual experiences, have had sightings, have had, visitations, proper visitations, the real deal, because it's nice for people to get a chance to talk about their experiences without judgment and without fear, because a lot of people have been hiding their experiences for a very long time because of that. There's a lot of stuff that is positive and negative to do with what we're talking about, but it is important to speak about it to help other people. So please come and message me. You're more than welcome. Or if you know others, if you know anyone else that you think that I know so-and-so, whether they're friends or just someone you know, doesn't matter, or an acquaintance or whatever, that they would
Mm-hmm.
like to come and talk about who they are, the UFO, abductee, etc. side of it, or spiritually in another way. So it's either or both. So this is an open podcast for all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The information is on my page. The information is on this podcast about who I am and what I do and what the podcast is really about. So yeah, it's time to bring people forward. It's time to bring the
Yeah.
truth out a little bit so that people can heal and they can
Mm-hmm.
be heard. Basically, that's what this is about. So,
Yeah.
all right, darling. So let's have a look at
Yeah.
what you're doing and see
Okay.
what we get.
So can you see it right from here?
Yep, I can see it from here.
Okay. I'll get behind so that I'm not like looking.
So I'm getting emissaries for a start, and emissaries are usually representatives. So it could be a council,
Mhm.
could be even part of your galactic council. It could be
Yeah.
them. I've got a feeling it might be them
Yeah.
in some way.
Um,
Okay, so I'm looking at the center, and that kind of reminds me of Sirius and also the pyramid system a little bit. So do you work with them?
like with pyramid or Syrian,
Yep,
like with the Syrian, definitely.
yep.
So with the wolf, with the feline, there's those aspects of myself there. But this is going to be more my emissary, galactic
I think so.
emissary. Yeah,
Yep,
like
for sure.
meeting and seeing and like their messages because I'm on a
Mhm.
council.
Yep.
It's,
Because it looks like they're channeling, they're talking, that's their information. And
yeah.
there's also a name that's coming through with them. I don't know if you know them or something similar. They're calling themselves Kazar.
Oh,
I don't know
nice.
who they are. They could be part of your Galactic Emissary Council. They could be part of another
Oh,
planet
nice.
system through
Feels like the
Sirian's
feline.
collections. Yeah,
Feels
does that? A
feline.
little bit
Yeah.
Lyran. Yeah, so it could be the Lyran Collective. So it could be the Lyran Galactic Council, part of
Mhm.
that that's coming through for you. Because they do come through a lot for you, don't they? I think your
Yeah.
Lyrans are the
I'm
strongest.
yeah, I'm writing a book now of my
Oh, okay.
Vija.
Oh,
She's a
nice.
Lyran
Yep.
and from Avion.
Okay. Well, that could be we're seeing today, who's coming through.
Yeah.
Maybe it's vitally important that she stepped forward for a
Oh yeah.
reason.
Those cats
Yeah.
because she has a cat like elders, cat elders. They're like black
Nice.
cats and
Yep.
they're elders and they're all
Are
around
they
her
the
assisting
Panthers
her.
or are they Panther or different?
Yeah, they kind of all look a little bit. Some of them are with like beards and stuff, so they kind of look
Okay.
Star Trek like kind of
Yep.
cats, you know. So
Okay.
but they're all black cats, and
Yeah, because
she's
I work with the
with them.
with the Panthers. I work with the Black Cats.
Yeah.
That
Uh
came
huh.
years and years ago, one of my very first lot that came through. I didn't even know anything about that back then. So we're talking, God, be over 5 years ago. And I went, who the
Yeah.
hell is that? Like no
Yeah.
idea. So I
Yeah.
feel it's them. Is there a message there that they'd like to share? No, it's okay. So what I'm getting at the moment, it's all about who you are, why you're here, how important your mission work is, and how you're about to go further. They're talking about an up leveling, an upgrading, a unlocking of some sort of memory, good memories, and it's it's all very feminine. So it's very like divine galactic feminine energy. Like to what I'm seeing is almost a feminine council. I don't think there's
y-
even any men on there. They're all women. They're all girly
Yeah.
girls.
Yeah.
Very powerful, very knowing. They also work with a very beautiful, looks like a purple lavendery light. So when
Mm,
they communicate, they literally send a ray of color. So they work with sound and color and vibration. So maybe you're getting
beautiful.
someone new coming through that you're going to work with, and
Yeah.
they're part of bringing that through
Mhm.
because they're
Yeah.
saying, no, this is personal. This is for Christy entirely. Still a message for everyone because we're talking about information. We're telling true information. We're bringing in a galactic emissary council. So we're showing you what's possible and what's actually what we can be a part of and what you can be a part of. And this is how it works. So what Chrissy does, she channels, the information comes in through codes, comes in through language, and then that message is given in this way. So
Mhm.
because I asked them, is there anything else? They're like, no, this is personal. They're talking about a phase, the next phase that you're going to be stepping into, which is, I think you talked about that this morning, about how some of your abilities are shifting and going in another direction. Still using
Yeah.
the same tools, same modalities, but this is more like your inner trust that you're talking about this morning and your inner
Yeah.
work with your
'Cause I was
abilities.
just doing the cards only, and
Yep,
now I don't even need the cards. You can ask
that's right.
anything, and I can still it's
Yep,
still about the same, you know? So,
exactly.
yeah. So
And
either way.
that's a step forward. But the
Mhm.
feminine, so the Lyran feminine galactic emissary. So they're representatives of their council per se. So that I feel that that would be you work with all, but that would be your forefront of who you work with the most, who channels
Mhm.
through you the most with the information. So
Definitely.
the new step you're stepping into will be these guys for
Yeah.
sure. They're
And I'm already
mostly
made a
black,
book
but
on
there's
that.
one. Sorry,
Yep.
they're mostly black. There is one who's like a light goldenly looking Lyran. One,
Oh, yeah.
one,
Yeah.
and she's beautiful. So
Mhm.
interesting.
Yeah, there's different ones. I do have a golden lion looking, but then I have
Do ya?
like a hybrid, like she's a
Okay.
hybrid, kind of fox lion, kind of
Yep.
humanoid kind of
Lynx
looking too.
kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Maybe that's
So
her because I've
there's
got the word
different
lynx.
ones. Mhm. Lynx, okay.
Mm,
That's cool
yeah.
too. Yeah,
Interesting.
and she likes to have
Yeah.
these stripes. These things on her face, like stripes are like really important to her too, like
Okay.
seeing
Is
like
it part
symbols
of
or
her lineage? Because she's
I,
saying it's part of her lineage, her
mhm.
bloodline.
Yeah.
Something that they've
Yeah.
created that's important. And it's
Yeah.
also to do with your language channeling. So they're like, there's a purpose in this. There's a purpose in this message today about who you are, what you're about to step into. And they've been waiting for a long time. They're very old too. Like their
Yes.
energy is really ancient, like
Yeah.
old ancient council
Yeah.
emissaries. Emissary just means representative of that collective. So hmm, pretty
Like I
cool.
just drew this for maybe this is the
I would say that could be the download coming in. Is up? You're getting a download today?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, because
Yes.
I've started on the book of Bijah, and with the
Ah,
on the council, the solar it's like a solar council or solar
right.
plasma council or
Well,
solar
that'll be what
codes
they're
or something.
sending. So
Mhm.
that'll be part of the new shift of what you're going through. What you will speak the codes of that collective. So you'll speak the codes of that energy itself, which is
Yeah,
very, very that's going in another level of consciousness. You know what I mean?
yeah.
That it's but they're showing me with that symbol, they're showing me two pathways that'll come in though. So it's not going to just be these guides. There must be someone else or something else that eventually will come in side by
Mhm.
side. So it's not just the one. It's not just them. There's another pathway that'll come in with that as well.
Yeah.
Something that you've called for personally, something that you want to achieve and want to do. So cool.
Mhm.
Time will tell. Time will tell.
Yeah.
Do inform us when it happens. Do let us know.
Yeah.
Things like that. So,
Definitely so. I get new ideas with writing the
do
books
you?
and stuff, like,
Or
I'm just
maybe it's a
gonna
new book.
yeah, because it's
Yeah.
either there's 2 of them that I'm working on with with her, so it's her
Ah,
on a
okay.
council and then her own journey to
Oh,
with
two
her
classes.
own little council, and then they're going over the star map and, like, kinda guiding her to where, like, she's needed on Earth kinda thing, So
That's
they're
what
kinda
it is.
helping her with that, you know?
Okay.
So
So they're supporting her pathway. That makes sense why there's 2. I said, "No, there's not just the one, there's 2."
mhm. Yep.
And they've drawn a symbol for you, which I'll send you later. Be part of
Okay.
that drawing maybe. It might be the second pathway to that drawing. So the drawing you've got, there's another link to that
Oh,
you could put
okay.
in there. And you might be able to use that for something in the future, one of your cards or a book or something. Better use that as an
Yeah,
activation of some sort.
on the cover.
Yep, on the cover. All right, my darling. Well, thank you for, we could have gone a lot longer and talked about a lot more, but I think there's probably enough today. We can do it another time. If there's anything in
Mhm.
the future that you'd like to share or something that comes in, if you just want to talk about your books or anything like
Okay.
that, or anything that's coming forward, please do. You're more than welcome to do that again. So thank you. Thank everyone that has come. The replay will be available for a period of time until they decide to delete it because they tend to do that.
Mm.
So I'll download it, keep it, send it to you, and then if
Okay.
any time it's gone, I can repost it and things like
Yeah,
that.
it'll be
Keep
on
it on
my
the page.
channel. Mhm.
Yeah, or YouTube keeps it. That's the main thing. But
Mhm.
just for Facebook and all that, I might have to work around it. So, all right, my
Mhm.
darling. Well, is there any closing words you'd like to give for anybody, or anything you'd
Um,
like to say?
I think that was about all really with
Yeah.
that. So yeah.
Pretty happy? Alrighty.
Mhm.
Okay, everybody. Well, again, if anybody'd like to come on my podcast to be interviewed, to talk about who they are, whether it's spiritual information, their spiritual journey, or UFO abductee contact, etc., and things like that, message me on Facebook Messenger and let me know your story and let me know when you're available and you'd like to do that. My next open for would be, what are you up to? Probably the end of November or just after that. So probably 2 weeks' time, I'll have an open. You can come in and have a go. So yeah, message me and let me know if you're interested. If otherwise, I said before, if there's anybody you know that you think would be perfect to come and do the same, if you're aware of them, send them my way, send them a message, tell them to come and see me, come and message me, and we'll see what we can do. It'd be nice to have some more people and different types of people coming in
Mhm.
to do the same. All right,
Definitely.
my love. Well, thank you. Thank you, Linda.
Thanks
See
again.
you,
Yeah,
and we'll
thank
see
you
you
all.
soon. Bye
Yeah.
now.